everyone, so welcome to today's video. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be doing a one brand video on Moira. This was a brand that was requested. I had a few subscribers leave me a comment in previous videos that I've done for one brands with drugstore products, and also on my community tab where I did the initial post that I was doing these one brand videos, this new series weeks ago. That was one of the brands that I put on my list, and I'm going through my list and I've been checking off all of the brands that you guys have been asking for, brands that I've been curious myself. So this is going to be all about Moira. I ordered a few things. I had some things already in my collection that I have played with. Some things are going to be new that I've had that I just never played with. And I'm excited to try those products out because I've been staring at them for quite some time. And I will say some of these products, just looking down at them, they look so pretty, and I cannot wait to show you some up-close shots of the items that I have. So we're going to do an entire face of just Moira products. I'm going to talk you through the products, the formulas, how it looks, how it feels, what I like about it, if I'm going to use it again. So I hope that these types of videos are helpful. So if you want to see a full face of Moira, then just keep watching. Starting off with the complexion, I'm going to go in with the Complete Facial Primer. This is a Pore Vanishing Primer. I typically like to use these types of primers because I do have larger pores, and I like how this actually has a more kind of thicker consistency, a little bit more of a silicone feel. And I'm going to use my fingers to just push this right over those areas that are of concern for me. So right in through here, over the nose, I do have some texture on my chin, and between the brows, center of the forehead, and then whatever's left, I'm just going to smooth that over the rest of the face. But this does feel incredibly smooth and really soft, and so I like how this sort of goes on and feels extremely smooth over the skin. Let's go in with some foundation. They had a few different foundation options to choose from. They had the Complete Wear Soft Matte Foundation, which is the one that I ended up choosing. They have a pressed powder that you can use as your main foundation to give you more full coverage. I believe that they had something that's more hydrating. It had a black cap, but this one that says Soft Matte that is more lightweight, blurring, reduces shine, just seemed like something I would be interested in trying. I personally like more satin to matte finishes anyways. This shade is 325W. I try to pick a shade that would match my current sort of more tan skin. This is 2 pumps of my foundation on my makeup palette, and it is seemingly runny and very thin. So I think it's going to be a good sort of thin, lightweight formula. And I think I'm going to go in with my damp beauty sponge. This is a Real Techniques sponge. I'm using the flat side of it to really sort of push this into the skin right over that primer. And I think that the shade is honestly not too bad. It is quite warm. So this is actually looking really nice on the skin. I am surprised. It doesn't look as dry as I thought. It does look kind of blurring over that primer. It's one of the claims that says pore blurring, so I do think it looks smooth. This is the side with nothing, just primer, and then this is the side with it already blended with the sponge. And I think it looks nice. I hope it doesn't oxidize because the color is doable for me. Let's do this other side. I'm going in with some concealer next. This is the Mega Concealer, the full coverage waterproof concealer. Shade 150 I thought was going to be fine. This is a frosted plastic glass, which makes it slightly deceiving because this is what it looks like. It's pretty light, but I think it's going to be fine. I'm going to blend this in with my damp beauty sponge. That actually blended out really easily, and it looks really nice. Once I sort of blended with the sponge, it's not quite as light as it looks when you initially apply it, so I think it's fine. I think those two shades are doable. Here is a look at the concealer blended with the sponge. I have not set this yet. I do like the way it looks. It's nice and smooth. It has really good coverage. I would say this is pretty close to full. Keep in mind the sponge tends to absorb some products, so I'm not quite getting the full coverage experience because of the sponge, but that's my preferred method of application. And as of right now, I can see myself using these trio of products together, the primer, foundation, and concealer. Assuming that this continues to wear the way it looks, I'm actually really happy so far. Next up is some setting powder. This is the Soft Focus Waterproof Setting Powder. I ordered shade 200. This does have a little bit more of a yellow kind of goldeny look to it. I almost ordered light medium, but it just seemed like it could potentially be too dark, especially going over concealer. So I'm going to use that powder to go right over my concealer. I'm using an e.l.f. Flawless Concealer brush. With the lights on, close to the camera, it's going to be hard for you to be able to see that really pretty embossed detail that's kind of pressed into this powder. It's the little details that really kind of make it more special. Okay? Actually, it's not too bad. So let's use that same setting powder with a big fluffy brush. This is an e.l.f. complexion brush. And I'm just going to pick up a little bit of that and just lightly go over the entire face. Moving on to brows, I only ordered one product from their brow options. I chose one of their smaller, more precision brow pencils that looks like this. I ordered the shade Ash Brown. I wanted to choose a shade that was in the brown tones, but a little bit more on the cooler side and not quite as dark as what I would have initially purchased. I hope it's gonna be fine. It may be too dark, I'm not sure, but it is a very fine little point and it really precise detail work. So I do like that. It also comes with a spoolie, as most typical brow pencils do. So I'm gonna use the spoolie, kind of comb my hair up and then over, and then I'm gonna use that really tiny point to do very thin kind of hair-like strokes. And I'm already noticing that this color is a lot warmer than I expected compared to my natural brow color. Ash Brown, typically any ashy type of shade, has a little bit of coolness to it, but this one actually, let me do a swatch. It looks a little bit kind of warm. Here's one brow completed. I will need to use a clear brow gel to set them in place, but the tone is just a little bit warm than I thought. Thinking Ash Brown, I thought it was going to be a little bit cooler, or at least that's what I thought when I saw the pictures on their website. It did seem a little bit more on the cooler side compared to their deeper brown shades. I think it's going to be doable just because my natural hair is pretty dark anyways, and I do have red tones in my hair, so I think the warmth is okay. It's doable. Is it the perfect match for me? Probably not, but I'm just going to use just this product. I'm going to set it with some clear brow gel just to keep the tail end mostly in place, because that's where I have a little bit of a, longer hairs. Easy to apply. It had some good pigment to it. It was easy to work with. So I really don't have anything negative to say except for the tone just being just a little bit warmer than what I initially thought I was getting. But not bad overall. Brows are done and set with some clear brow gel. I do need to do a little bit of bronzer, and this is where I'm starting to feel like I may have chosen something based off of the look, but not really thinking it through in the end, all the way to the end. I chose the signature bronzer, the Sunkissed Honey shade. This looks really pretty. I just love that sort of beachy vibe. You can see the little seashells, the palm trees, the clouds, the waves for the water. It's so cute. And then you have this kind of sparkly bit down here that's supposed to be like the sand. It's cute in theory, yes. I like the detail, so let's give them credit for that. However, this is most likely like an overspray. And once you put your brush in there, you're going to be picking up these sort of glittery specks. So I've taken off the actual gold glitter overspray off of this bottom part, and I was able to clean it off with a big fluffy brush. It goes everywhere, by the way, so if you get this, just know that it's going to be messy. So hopefully I've taken off enough to get a nice bronze look to the skin without seeing any gold. It literally made a mess. It's like all over my desk, all over my pants. It is what it is. So we're going to go in with a fluffy brush. This is the pointed powder brush from e.l.f. I'm just going to pick up the product, tap off the excess, and I'm going to tap it onto my paper towel and see if I can remove any possible glitter specks that may still be on the compact. And then just start warming up the complexion, adding a little life back into the skin. So besides that sort of glitter overspray issue that we had, the bronzer itself is actually really pretty. It's blending in nicely over the skin. It's not patchy. It's not clinging to any sort of areas of my face. It's going on really nicely, and I like the tone of it. I'm going to use a little bit of what's left down around my jawline. Next up is one of, I think, the prettiest blushes that I've ever owned, and probably one of the prettiest products in this lineup today. It's the Signature Ombre Blusher. I ordered one shade, Bella Pink number 03, and what I like about these blushes is the options that you have. So you have a couple different things you could do with this. You have a very light color at the top, you have a medium shade in the center where the two tones meet, and then you have that deeper color. So you could essentially customize your entire look. You can do this top part one day, bottom part the next day, mix it. So you could have a bit of a different look every time you use this product, which is pretty cool. You can kind of customize it. Here you could probably see, there you go. You see that ombre from like a candy baby pink to a deeper, brighter pink. And then you see the butterflies, you see that rose detailing. It's beautiful. It's so much prettier in person than it looks online. I'm gonna start with the lightest shade, and I'm going to just kind of pat that right over the cheeks, and that is so pretty. It has some pigment. It looks light, but it's not. It does show up. I like how this blush is also matte, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but it doesn't have any shimmer to it, which I personally like. And look at how pretty that light pink shade. That's the top part of the compact. And let's just add a tiny bit of the brighter pink from the bottom, so where the rose is, and tap off the excess. Whoa, that's gonna be bright. And we're just gonna do just a little hint of this towards the back. That's what it looks like. I will continue to blend it, but I wanted you to be able to see both of these colors together. I'm going to tone this down just a little bit because this blush is very bright and it can be quite bold. So with my damp beauty sponge that I use for my foundation, I'm just going to soften that a little bit more. Especially this side, I feel like I put more on this side than the other side. I'm also going to use a little bit of that waterproof setting powder over my lids to prep them for the eyeshadow. I did use a primer from a different brand that I know works, that I can trust to keep everything in place, because these eyeshadows, they're so beautiful. I cannot get over how pretty these look. These are the Celestial series palettes. I picked two. I've had these for months and months, and I have yet to use them. I can't even believe it. I can't. So let's talk about the first one, the Chasing Eternities. Look at the packaging. Look how pretty this looks. Chasing Eternity. That looks so pretty. Let me show you up close what this looks like. The packaging is beautiful. It's like a pretty, almost like a book presentation. You open this up, you have a nice mirror with some details, some little angel wings. You have the planets, the stars, and it just looks so pretty. The embossing detail of this palette is stunning. You have stars, planets, you have clouds. It just looks so beautiful, almost too pretty to mess up, right? And just the attention to detail, the colors. This one is definitely the everyday palette. You have some kind of neutrally shades, you have some warm tones, you have light shades, you have mid-tones, you have deep smoky shades. I feel like this one specifically has it all. But I want to show you this other one as well. This one has some more green tones to it. This is the Time to Shine. I chose this one because it has those sort of khaki colors, a little bit of a deeper green, like olivey type of vibes. And if I ever do any sort of green tones, it's almost always going to be some type of olivey type shades, just because I think it looks pretty. There's something about an olive smoky eye that just looks so sophisticated, so polished. I don't know what it is. I just am drawn to that color for a smoky eye. You can see up close the shots that I took. I showed you really close in detail with the lens, the actual embossing and the tones of this. You have this shade, looks like it could be a duochrome. You have some light kind of green shades. You have these maroon kind of berry plummy vibes. You have some cool pops right in this palette as well. These that are a little bit more deeper type shades are actually a matte formula. So the matte dark green. These here, this is a deep teal. This one here is a nice kind of deep maroon. That's matte. These are matte down here, so it's like a deep plum, a nice gray, like a mid-tone gray shade. These are also matte. And then you have the shimmer sort of metallic ones that I think look so, so beautiful. So they have those. They have other different palettes. They actually have cream shadows, so I have one of those. This is the Lucent Cream Shadow in the shade Jupiter. But this one shifts, so it looks really pretty, but it actually has a green shift, which I wasn't really tracking that. I thought it was a different shade I was ordering, but this looks like it would be really pretty. It looks purple, then it turns to green. It just looks different and fun, so I could do that. They have cream shadows as well. These, I've talked about this one before, the Everlust Shimmer Cream Shadows. I only have one shade, and this is the one that I think is a dupe for one of the Charlotte Tilbury colors. This is the Dazzling Brown, so it's a cream shadow. They have some that are kind of similar to the Hourglass ones, where you have like a little plastic window you have to lift up, but it's like a pressed pigment. They have liquid shadows as well with glitter. They have a lot of different options. I have to use one of these. These are just absolutely incredible. They look so pretty. So let's do this one here, the Chasing Eternities palette, and let's see where the look takes us today. Let's start off with some of the lighter shades for the transition and crease work. So I'm going to go to the shade called Hopeful right here. It's the first one in the second row, and I'm going to use the big fluffy brush, and I'm going to start in my crease, just kind of carving out the shape that I want today, just following the natural shape of my eye, going back and forth. Let's deepen things up a little bit, and why not try the shade called Goddess, which is a kind of mid-tone brown shade, kind of with a bit of a rosy undertone. So let's pick up that color with the same brush, tap off the excess, and go right over that lighter shade, which was the Hopeful color. I'm gonna run that same rosy tan shade on my lower lashes with a smaller brush. Back in with that initial blending brush, just to keep it simple, and I'm gonna blend and soften that line. I want to deepen things up a little bit on the outer V area of the eye. I'm going to use this wide tapered brush from e.l.f. It comes to a nice point. It's a bit of a wider brush, but that point might actually be helpful for getting it close to the crease area. So I'm going to use the shade called Infinite, which is the second one in the bottom row. It's a bit more of a cooler brown. I would say it's like a mid-tone brown. It's not really deep and dark like a chocolate brown, but it is pretty dark, and it is several shades darker than what I just used. So I'm going to tap off the excess, and I'm going to pat this right on this outer part and keep that color right out here. Now with an e.l.f. crease brush, I'm going to start blending the color that I just applied. I was mostly focused with that larger brush with placement and getting that right out here, but now we need to blend just a little bit that edge into those rosy brown shades that we put into the crease. So I'm going to use a more tapered brush. The e.l.f. crease brush is perfect for this. Just go around the edge of that a little bit. I'm going to pick up a little bit more of that Hopeful shade, that very light, almost nothing looking shade that I used first for my transition, to help me blend a little bit more. And these colors are blending out very, very well. I am super impressed with the quality of these shadows. I'm now taking that Infinite eyeshadow, that cool brown that I use on my outer V, on the lower lashes with a smaller brush. Look at the swatches on my fingers of the creamy metallic shades. They're absolutely beautiful. So here's some of those so you can see what they look like. Some copper shades, some kind of warm tones, some bronze, some deeper smoky shades. Like, look at that. This one in my middle finger here is called Freeing, and this reminds me of like the Natasha Denona toppers because it's ultra soft, buttery smooth. It's glitter, but it's a very fine, almost feels like nothing type of glitter. It's not chunky, it's not gritty at all. It's this shade right here. It's stunning. It's so soft. And then the only other thing is, I will show you what they look like in the pan. The 24/7 shade in the second row here, and this one that's called Caution look almost exactly identical. So that's these two shades, 24/7 and Caution. One looks just a little bit more, this one here, a bit more of a copper, that's the 24/7. But then this one that is the Caution has a little bit more of a kind of reddish undertone. I don't know if the camera's gonna focus on that right there, but maybe you can see it there. So having those two colors in tone so close is my only complaint. They're still beautiful, still ultra creamy, so soft. Like, I just want to swipe all this all over my eyes. This just makes me so excited and so happy to have these shades. I love these colors. I just do. I just love this palette. So let's try a couple shades. Let's go in with Eternity on the lid. So this one in the top row here, which is a nice kind of bronzy, a little bit on the cooler side. Looks like that. It's more of like an antique bronze, not so much of an orangey kind of vibe. And let's just put that, ooh, yes, right onto the lid. That is stunning. Wow. And I did get a little bit on my inner corner, so let's just try to clean that up. It doesn't help when the hands are dirty. Look at that. Crisis averted, okay? I had to add some more foundation. I know you saw that. You saw that. Let's use that rewarding shade, which is the first color, and it's like a shimmery kind of ivory type shade. So let's do that. Nice and bright, kind of icy looking. Let's do that in the inner corner and as a brow highlight. Whoa, this is really pigmented. Holy smokes. And this is what I want to do. I want to go into that freeing shade that I talked about being like a Natasha Denona type of topper shade. I'm not saying it's a dupe for her formula, but this feels absolutely incredible. Like it's almost like touching nothing. I'm going to take that and I'm going to pat that right over the top of this eyeshadow and just add a little bit of sparkle because life is better with more glitter in it. I love the way this looks. I like everything about this eye look. There's a little bit of smokiness, some glitter, some kind of bronzy tones, some kind of rosy vibes with the brown shades, everything that I like all into one look. And I couldn't be happier about it. I absolutely love that glitter topper. I feel like it just elevated how the lids look. It almost looks wet, does it not? Stunning. Love this so, so much. And I cannot wait to use this again. Lastly, to complete this eye look, we need to do liner and lashes. I ordered the Angled Liquid Liner. I believe this is one of their newer products. And I chose this because of the applicator being a little bit different than a typical liquid liner. So it has a very tiny, tiny, precise little point. But as you can see, it is angled. So I feel like that's going to help with control, placement of the liner. That's the whole idea in mind of ordering this. So we'll see. The shade is black. And I'm going to do a very thin line right across my lash line. Wow, is that a really thin, sharp, crisp line. I like this a lot. This is an immediate yes. So you see how this applicator is bent going this way. So I'm taking that side and placing that against the skin of my lids and then lightly doing small dotted lines and connecting them. Versus taking the tip that comes like this way, because I feel like that doesn't give me as much control. So you want to take that sort of softer, like rounded side and put that up against the lash line and then draw it on pretty thin, like little dots or little sections and connect the line, and it's going to go on with ease. The ink flows out really beautifully with this applicator. This is just too easy. Wow. So this eyeliner is great. I feel like the line was thin, was crisp, precise, really thin, and that's how I personally like to wear my liquid liner. So if you're looking for a liner that has a very small, tiny little applicator, I think you will enjoy this. This is the Angled Liquid Liner. They also do have just regular liquid liners that have a sort of marker felt tip. You've seen these, you probably have already used something like this before. They also have, I think they have pencil liners as well, but I went for that angled liner because that was different and I have not seen anything like this from other brands. Now, yes, there are bent liner brushes that you can use with eyeshadows or gel pot liners, or you can like dip it into a liquid liner that's like an inkwell type where you can screw off the cap. You could do something like that, but there's just something so nice about having it in a pen form, and I think it's unique, and that's why I bought it, and I'm glad I did because I really do like that. And now for mascara, I'm going to use the Volume and Long Lash Mascara. It comes in an ivory and black tube like this. I will show you the applicator up close. It's more of a traditional style of mascara wand, so I'm going to just do 2 coats on the top and 1 at the bottom. This is creating a nice separation, keeping my lashes from getting clumped up, and I do like how it's applying a nice layer of product without clumps. That is 1 coat of the mascara. Let's do another coat. This is the side with 2 coats and 1 coat of the mascara. And I actually like how this is more of a natural lash. It's not very dramatic. It doesn't give you spiky lashes. It doesn't clump them up. It keeps them all individually separated, which is nice, and it leads to a more natural look that way. I do really enjoy this mascara formula. I like how clean the wand comes out when you pull the wand out of the tube. I like how it separated the lashes. It's more of a natural look, so it doesn't give me as much drama as I personally like to the lashes and the thickness that I'm looking for, but it's a good one. I don't have any complaints about it. It's a nice everyday type of formula that I can see myself using again. That leads me to the next product for a little bit more of pizzazz to the skin. Let's do the Dreamlight Highlighter. I had this shade Honeysuckle when these first launched. I think it was sometime last year. So I want to use a little bit of this just tapping it right on the tops of the cheekbone. And I do remember liking this highlighter. It is very intense though. So I'm going to use just a tiny little bit because I feel like I was missing a little something on the tops of the cheekbone. And if you put on a lot of this formula, you will see that shimmer sitting on the tops of the cheekbone. So you have to really like highlighter in order to really enjoy this. Otherwise, it's not one that I would recommend for someone who wants something a little bit more soft, something a little bit more kind of ethereal, more candlelit, because up close you can really see it if you put too much on. I also like the packaging. It's a really pretty kind of iridescent look to it. The plastic component doesn't feel cheap, feels nice. So I do like that. And I honestly forgot about that. It's been in my collection for a while, like I said, last year, and I haven't even used it. So now I did. Let's move on to lips. I'm gonna do a kind of layering thing here so you can see some options. I've got some of their signature lipsticks. I think that's what these are called. Yes, signature lipsticks. I've got their hydrating lip oil. Look at that, so pretty. I've got some lip liners. So let's start the lip look off with the Lip Appeal Waterproof Liner in the shade On Point. It has a sharpener on the end in case that's something that you're looking for in your lip liners. And this looks like a really pretty kind of rosy shade. It might go really nicely with today's eye look. And this is the On Point lip liner. Really pretty kind of rosy shade. So I'm not going to fill in the rest of my lips with the lip liner because I'm going to use one of their signature lipsticks, and then we'll top it with the lip oil because I've got to try this. This looks so beautiful. I cannot wait to try that lip oil. In the signature lipsticks, I have two shades, Rosy Vibes and Camellia. So this is Camellia and then this is Rosy Vibes. I think the Rosy Vibes is going to be the right vibe for this lip look. Ooh, and these feel so soft. This is the signature lipstick in Rosy Vibes over the On Point lip liner. This feels smooth, buttery, like silky on the lips. It feels pretty thin for a lipstick, honestly. And I do like that kind of rosy shade. I think it's really pretty. The other one is just a little bit lighter and just a little bit more nude. So maybe I'll take this off or kind of pat some of this off and show you the other shade. This next one is the Camellia. Oh yeah. Yep. This is definitely more me. And this is Camellia. I think for me personally, this is definitely more of my vibes that I go for on an everyday basis. So I will use that again. I like this formula a lot. It's pretty thin. It's pigmented. It doesn't feel too heavy and just too thick on the lips. I like this formula a lot, but that Camellia shade is stunning and I'm going to keep it on. And I feel like that probably pairs a little bit better with this eye look. And then let's do that Tickled Pink lip oil because I have to try it. It looks so sparkly and so pretty. And for this, I'm going to use a lip brush to apply it. Oh yeah, that feels really nice. And here is the hydrating lip oil in Tickled Pink over the lipstick Camellia. I really like this formula. I feel like the sparkle that's in it gives it the illusion of a more juicier, kind of glossier lip look, which I am totally here for. I like that. And you don't really feel the sparkly particles in the actual lip oil, which again is another bonus. I think the only thing for me is that I didn't order more shades. I didn't pick up more of the lipsticks, more of the lip liners. I think that the lip products are actually pretty daggone spectacular. I think that they're pretty pigmented, beautiful together, and I absolutely love this lip combo. What do you think? Do you like this tone of pink? I think it's just the perfect everyday pink. And that, my friends, wraps up today's look on a one brand using only Moira products. And from my experience today, I feel like I should have tried this brand a long time ago. I'm so impressed with pretty much everything that I used today. I would definitely have to let you know in the wear notes in the description box how the foundation continued to wear with the concealer and the powder, primer. All of that will be available for you in the description box. So expand that if you're curious to see or read what my thoughts are at the end of the day. But so far, I am very impressed with these products. And my standout, I've got to give it to the palettes. Like, look at this. They look like books. Like, you can just put this on a shelf somewhere and it looks like a book. And when you order these, it comes actually in an exterior box as well. And that in and of itself is like a pretty like opening of a package. So special, so fun. The presentation A to Z is just there. It looks so pretty when you open that box and then you pull this out of it and you open it and you see the colors. the detail with the actual like feel of these palettes. It feels so much more expensive than what they charge for this. I just wish I would have tried these sooner. And why aren't we talking about these more? Like, why are we sleeping on this, okay? Do not sleep on these palettes, okay? These are incredible. The description box down below is going to have all of the links for everything that I used in today's video. So expand that if you want to shop anything that I used today. Let me know what your favorite Moira products are. What did you enjoy from this video? Please let me know if you want to see more from this brand. I do have other products that I didn't get to use today. This other palette. And I would be more than happy to do a look with that palette in the future for you. So if you want to see that, please let me know. Thanks so much for being here. I hope that this video was helpful. If you have any other suggestions for brands that you want to see next, please let me know in the comment section. I look forward to hearing from you. Subscribe for more videos like this in the future and hit that notification bell. I post videos every Tuesday and every Friday, so you see me twice a week. And you can also follow me on Instagram. My username is here on the screen. I hope to connect with you there. Take care, you guys, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.